this will be a much easier to understand state pension system. It will just be a single tier. It won't have the confusion of two tiers. And we also think that ultimately it will cut down in the amount of means-tested benefit that pensioners get as a result of these changes, because that money will be rolled up into the single-tier pension.
But there's a but. There's always a but.
There's always a but, yes. To get from the situation we have today to the situation that will be that nice and simple and clean system is always very complicated. And that's where I think perhaps the explanation needs to be clearer. When we took evidence from the Minister, he said that the government was slightly, hands were tied, because until there was proper legislation on the statute books, the government really couldn't do anything.